Let's add to the conversation former U.S. Attorney, MSNBC legal analyst Joyce Vance. Joyce, I'll put the same question to you. The significance within the prosecution's argument, not just that it's Stormy Daniels and we all know what she alleges happened. It's been at the core of this Donald Trump story since 2016. But how significant a witness is she to the prosecution story?
Well, I think Danny's absolutely correct when he says that she's a witness the prosecution doesn't control, and you never love being in that position as a prosecutor. But she's essential in this sense. If Stormy Daniels didn't testify, the jury would wonder why. Why didn't they hear from the central figure in this case? And so in some ways, you have to put her on and let her tell her story, or at least part of it. And she's essential in a funny sort of way in this case. She, too, corroborates Michael Cohen. We've seen details about the $130,000 payment. She's the witness who talks about how it comes to her and why the payment is made to her. And in that sense, she's one of those witnesses the prosecution needs to make sure that they're checking all the boxes to make certain that the jury doesn't have any reasonable doubt at the end of the case.
So, Joyce, I'm just curious what you think about Donald Trump's post that he put up and put down. I mean, he's not stupid. I just wonder if he was hoping to do just enough to get the prosecution to sidebar again about the gag order or whatever, to try and put off whatever is happening today, maybe a little triggered by the news that Stormy Daniels is going to take the stand. I don't believe that he would put up a post and not know that he was violating the gag order.
His defense team probably has a paralegal or someone on the team who is assigned to keep an eye on his social media for just this sort of an emergency. Apparently, it didn't take them very long to tell him to delete the post. But I think what it suggests is that having Stormy Daniels on the witness stand will be challenging for the former president, and whether or not he'll be able to maintain his demeanor in the courtroom and avoid doing something that will actually give rise to a more serious conversation about the gag order is something that we'll learn this morning.
Yeah, Joyce, I have the Truth Social post here, screenshotted before deleted. It was up barely a half an hour. He calls the judge crooked, highly conflicted, taking away his First Amendment rights, attacks on the judge, and whether or not this violated the gag order or not, it seems like perhaps someone on his team thought it might have, so they took it down. Can you just preview for us, please? I mean, as Danny just said, and you said, this is a big name witness. This one, and with Michael Cohen looming, sort of the two that Americans who even are casually following this trial, they know those two names. Stormy Daniels, one of them. So walk us through, what's today going to look like? How is this going to go? For how long? What sort of questions should we anticipate? What will the prosecution and defense do?
Yeah, so I think this is a fact witness like any other fact witness in a case. Of course, the reality is that the facts are pretty salacious here, and there will be a lot of people, the press included, hanging on every word that Stormy Daniels has to say. But we'll see prosecutors lead her through the details that we've heard from some other witnesses in part. This idea that she had a story to sell, that it happened on the eve of trial as the Access Hollywood tape was creating an absolute debacle inside of the Trump campaign. And, you know, this is, I think we all remember pretty well, she was represented by Michael Avenatti, who's on the screen right now. It turned out she was very unhappy about that representation. I don't think that we'll hear prosecutors go very far into the details of that situation, although Avenatti himself has suggested he might be willing to testify for Trump. It's possible that some of that will have bearing, but it feels a lot like a sideshow. I think this will be limited to the facts. And the big question is, how do you handle Stormy Daniels if you're the defense? Because if you push too hard, she's shown in the past that she's someone who can respond, someone who can handle herself under pressure. She may be one of those witnesses where the defense has to tread very lightly because there's really nothing to be gained from cross-examining her. The facts are the facts, and there's very little that will alter that.
Danny, we do have to pause for a moment and just recognize if she does take the stand today, this is the first time that Stormy Daniels will be face-to-face effectively with Donald Trump since all of this blew up and became public over the last several years. He's going to have to look her in the eye. She'll probably look him in the eye. Some strange moments in court with Hope Hicks, where the once loyal lieutenant is now weeping in court about what she had to do for Donald Trump. So if you are the defense team, to Joyce's point, How do you handle Stormy Daniels? Maybe going at her credibility? What do you do?
You have to be so careful. Even the prosecution, I think, is probably a little nervous about what Stormy Daniels will do. But here's what I see the real risk to the defense is that you get up and you cross-examine someone like Stormy Daniels, who's a larger-than-life personality, who's probably looking to dunk on defense counsel if they ask a bad question. And that's exactly the situation. I've been there before. If she can even elicit a laugh or give a funny quip, I could see the judge saying, well, defense counsel, you open the door. There's nothing judges like more than to tell defense counsel, hey, you open the door. This is something that might not have come up, but you asked the question. You have yourself to blame. And sure enough, if you're defense counsel, you've got to be so careful with Stormy Daniels. Your questions have to be perfectly crafted to elicit only a yes or no, because you don't want to give her the opportunity to give a speech on the stand. Now, the judge will stop her if she does, but this is a very, very dangerous witness for the defense, and they have to tread really carefully.